Oh, we certainly do. We're actually just past the peak period of hurricane season, and we cannot let our guard down because, as we know in South Florida, we can very easily have a late season storm, as we did with Hurricane Wilma 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. And that's still in the minds of a lot of people here in the community. So our message to the community now, hurricane season lasts until November 30th. There's every chance that we could have a late season storm this year. We still need to be on guard and be prepared.
There you go. And let's take a step back briefly. Hurricane Wilma, an event that many of us went through, and let's maybe talk about maybe some lessons learned from that.
Sure. Well, I think a big lesson for everyone who was affected by Wilma, you know, in Broward County, where we are, Deerfield Beach, 98% of the county was without power. That's a lot of people, 1.8 million people. We have living here, 90% of the county. Almost all of our traffic signals were either destroyed or not working. All of our 31 cities had lift station failures. And so that is still fresh in the minds of a lot of people here. Lessons learned, I think a lot of people are taking it to heart now that we're in prime hurricane season. And they early on started putting their hurricane supplies kit together and thinking about where they're going to go if we do have a hurricane or even a strong tropical storm. Should they evacuate? Should they shelter in place, stay in their place? Should they go to one of our 12 primary shelters that we have in the county? We also have 5 special needs shelters that we have for residents who need that service. And of course we do have our pet-friendly shelter, which is in Tamarack. So there's a lot of options for people. We've been getting that message out since well before the start of hurricane season, May 1st, or June 1st rather. And I think a lot of people are taking that to heart.
And you know, you as an agency, you cover it all. There's family preparedness. We already talked about pet preparedness, boats, special needs, businesses, insurance. All of these come to play. Let's maybe talk briefly about some of those for boat owners.
Sure. Well, boat owners need to think about what they're going to do with their boat should we have a storm. Now, if you have the boat trailer, it's really important to make a decision if you're going to take that boat out of the area, trailer it, and take it away from the threat, or if you're going to leave it here, make sure that it's secure, because a boat can become a missile, as you know, and even a minimal hurricane can cause a lot of damage. For people who have their boats moored, we have a lot of boaters here in South Florida. We have a flotilla plan that's coordinated by the law enforcement agencies. And so we get that word out. Whenever there's a threat of a storm, such as a hurricane, a tropical storm, we give people plenty of time to take that boat that's moored, if it's not trailered, and take it inland, out of the intercoastal waterway and up any of our tributaries. But they need to do that before we lock the bridges down to the intercoastal, because once the sustained winds get up to about 39 miles per hour, the bridges are locked down. If they don't get the boat out within that window, then it's too late.
Yeah, very important. When it comes to evacuations, you know, that you don't take that topic lightly. When it comes to issuing recommended evacuations, let's talk a little bit about that process.
Sure. Well, we post an evacuation, issue an evacuation order only when it's necessary. And it's not something that we do lightly, because you know, truthfully, it costs local governments millions of dollars to execute an evacuation. And so we really have to keep in mind, is it necessary? So we'll do that only when it's necessary, when we feel that there's an imminent threat involved to certain segments of the population. And we target the evacuation area. We do have 2 mandatory evacuation zone areas. One is right along the beach area, along A1A, which is proximate to the beach, the barrier islands here in Broward County, and a little bit further inland up to Route 1 Federal Highway, which is just over the intercoastal, for a little bit stronger storm. Those are our 2 mandatory evacuation zone areas. And of course, anytime we issue an evacuation order for either one of those areas, it also applies to anybody in a mobile home or manufactured home, no matter where they live in the county. So when we issue an evacuation order, we really want people to take that to heart. And unfortunately, sometimes they don't. And then when the storm is bearing down, and we saw this during Wilma, when the power starts to go out and they're in a high-rise building, the elevator doesn't work and they can't get out, they panic, but by then it's too late to get out, because we cannot send a bus out in a 100-mile-per-hour wind to pick somebody up. So that's why our message is, think now. Are you going to stay where you are? If you're in a mandatory evacuation zone area, know where you're going to go.
And finding out, looking at the map and getting information, let's talk about some of the resources, brochures and so on you have available for Broward County.
Yeah. This is on our website, by the way. We have an excellent website. It's www.broward.org/hurricane. And it's all hurricane-related information. We do have, if I can hold this up, we have
Absolutely.
a 12-page preparedness guide that we direct mail to every resident in Broward County, and this is posted on our website. You just click on the button, you can look at it or download it and print it out. It's 12 pages long. We have an evacuation zone map in there, as well as a list of our shelters. And excellent information on tips on putting a hurricane supplies kit together, what to do with your pet, what if you have people with special needs in your household.
Right.
You know, what can they do? What are their options? There's lots of great information in there.
Transportation needs?
Yes, transportation needs. What we do whenever we have an evacuation in Broward County is our mass transit service, Broward County Mass Transit, immediately starts picking up people in the evacuation zone areas at designated pickup points. Now, we also will pick up people in specially equipped buses who have special needs, and they may have some mobility problems. And as long as we know who they are in advance, that works really fine. And that's why we encourage people to register throughout the year with our Special Needs Registry, which is coordinated by Broward County Elderly and Veteran Services. That number, of course, is here. And anybody who needs a service like that or any information at all can just call our general information number, which is available throughout the year. It's 954-831-4000. And when we have an emergency, that becomes a hotline number. So as far as transportation is concerned, when we know where the people are ahead of time with special needs, we'll send a bus out, a paratransit type of vehicle to pick them up, get them to special needs shelter. But if we don't know where they are, we can't do it ahead of time.
So now is the time, right? Like you said, this is the time. The season's not over yet, and I know through the emergency management community, and we'll keep bringing it up, a challenge for all of us is what we call those cancers of preparedness, apathy and complacency.
Exactly. And I think after Hurricane Wilma, we saw a tremendous amount of interest in hurricane preparedness. This year, now, one of the things that we do and that I coordinate in my office is we do a tremendous amount of outreach to the community. We do presentations on hurricane preparedness, and this year we really received an unprecedented amount of requests for those types of activities. In fact, I documented how many people we've reached. It's in the thousands. And so that's good. That's a great thing. So I'm hoping that people aren't complacent. Hurricane Wilma is still fresh in their mind. For people who are just moving here to South Florida, they hopefully have been told about the people who've been here, what it's like to go through a hurricane such as Wilma or even Hurricane Andrew for people who've been here since Hurricane Andrew.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we thank you so much for your time, Carl. Again, you have a presence in the Expo here as well. There is a showroom booth with Broward County Emergency Management and information there for folks to visit that, please, here in the Expo. And again, mention your website again, too.
Yes. It's www.broward.org/hurricane.
Okay, very good. Carl, thank you again so much. I appreciate it. Great working together.
Pleasure being here.
All righty. Well, we're going to continue on with more experts here at the Disaster Survival House in just a couple of minutes.